Hey guys, welcome back to LoopHub. Today, we'll talk about Dr. Lee from Dr. Pimple Popper saying these are the grossest pops she has ever seen. Let's head into it. Number 5. The Abscess Waterfall. One of Dr. Pimple Popper's worst cases was this abscess waterfall. The abscess was almost as big as Dr. Lee's hand, and she was prepared for the waterfall that was to come. She was wearing full splash gear, which was certainly needed. Dr. Lee defined the abscess as an epidermoid cyst that had become inflamed and infected. The cyst had swollen up and became tender and painful, similar to an infection, according to Dr. Lee. Although not a true infection, the symptoms are often resolved by incision and drainage, and the abscess heals. The 3-part extraction was started by Dr. Lee with 2 days of warm compresses to bring the abscess to the surface. Then she made a few small incisions, and the cyst started gushing immediately, as Dr. Lee had to hold a pan beneath the cyst to catch most of the contents. The abscess waterfall certainly lived up to its name. The cyst was drained by Dr. Lee for over 10 minutes, and the whole time it flowed like a waterfall. Dr. Lee actually placed the gauze inside the cyst that she removed a few days later to help it heal. Number 4. The biggest cyst she's ever seen. Dr. Pimple Popper referred to this case as the biggest cyst she has ever seen, and was quite shocked that it had grown so big. If you blow a balloon up enough, it's going to pop. And I'm just so shocked that he has a cyst there that's blown up to this size, and the balloon hasn't popped. To that end, Dr. Lee and her team prepared to get wet during the extraction, dressing in gowns, glasses, face masks, and face shields, as they do with large extractions. As soon as Dr. Lee opened the cyst, it started oozing almost immediately. Dr. Lee said, descriptive as she is, that the content looked like oatmeal. Additionally, when Dr. Lee began draining the cyst, you could see the relief on the patient's face. He said it was extremely painful, and when Dr. Lee opened it up, he could immediately feel the pressure decrease due to the satisfaction that came with this pop, both for the patient and for viewers at home. This case is one of Dr. Lee's best. Number 3. The 2 dilated pores of Weiner. For multiple dilated pores of Weiner during extraction, this patient came to see Dr. Pimple Popper. Weiner's dilated pores are similar to the regular blackheads that we all get, and in her practice, Dr. Lee pops a lot of them. These particular Weinery pores were large and buried deep in the skin of the patient, making for one of the more difficult extractions of Dr. Lee. She was able to begin squeezing them out once Dr. Lee loosened the pimples, but she said these were still some of the largest blackheads she had ever worked on. Plus, the second blackhead was hidden under the skin, meaning the incision had to be widened by Dr. Lee and tweezers had to go in. She explained that both of the pimples were hard as small stones, and she said that they even sounded like stones in the tray. Sadly, Dr. Lee didn't get the whole blackhead in one piece, making it one of her worst cases to watch. The dilated pores both left large holes in the patient's skin after the extraction, but Dr. Lee left both of them open and felt confident that they would heal on their own. Number 2. The lipoma the size of a grapefruit. This lipoma is one of the most intense instances of Dr. Pimple Popper yet. On the back of his neck, a patient came in for a lipoma the size of a grapefruit, a big grapefruit. The patient said that he had never seen a doctor before, so Dr. Lee didn't know what it was at first. She couldn't wait to find out, of course, whether it was a cyst, a lipoma, or something entirely different. It took 3 videos for Dr. Lee to show the entire extraction from start to finish, but she was able to remove the mass safely. She identified it as a lipoma after a few tests and was able to begin the extraction. Dr. Lee used some serious slicing skills to open the skin in a gross but captivating video and used her hands to dig inside the wound. She was worried that her hands would be too small to manually remove the lipoma, but she was able to do so eventually. Number 1. The 30-year-old blackhead. This 30-year-old blackhead is one of the worst cases of Dr. Pimple Popper. Compared to some of Dr. Lee's other cases, almost the size of a fingernail, this blackhead doesn't look like much, but there was a lot more hiding under the skin. The patient told Dr. Lee that, with no luck, he had tried to pop it once or twice. To wrangle it out, Dr. Lee even had to use a bit of muscle. The blackhead was so deep in the skin that in order to extract it, Dr. Lee had to pull out scissors and tweezers. This is what happens if blackheads aren't removed. She was able to pull out a sizable chunk of blackhead once Dr. Lee used tweezers. which she describes as looking like a raisin or a cigarette butt. But Dr. Lee said towards the end of the procedure that she wished she had left it alone because she was worried that it would come back. This is one of the worst cases of Dr. Lee because the blackhead didn't come out in one pop, and in the future it might become a problem again. What do you think about these pops on Dr. Pimple Popper? Can you understand why Dr. Lee says they were the grossest ones? Let us know in the comment section. This brings us to the end of our video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss any of our videos in the future. Also, watch the 2 videos that are on your screen because I'm sure you'll love them. With that, I'll see you in the next video.